Hey guys, it's Abby from Homeschool with Moxie. Today I thought on this blustery cold January day here in Northeast Pennsylvania where we're all snowed in, thought it'd be a good time to do a little mid-year recap on some of our curriculum choices. You know how at the beginning of the year you feel really excited about what you're going to use and you think it's the best thing ever, and then by January you know what you really think about stuff, right? So I usually give the rosy overview of here's what we're using this year, and I don't tend to go back and edit and say, okay, we thought it was going to work, but it really isn't working the way we had hoped, or, hey, it's still great. I don't usually do that. I don't think a lot of people actually do. And I think this might be more helpful than that beginning of the year overview, which just tells you what we're using. So I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly of some of our fifth grade curriculum choices and kind of what we're putting aside or what we're not going to use again next year and that type of thing. So if you are interested to see what we thought about what we actually used this year, and then this video is for you, here's that mid-year recap of fifth grade homeschool resources. So our tried and true is still working for us, and that is our BJU Press Math. We have been using this successfully for all 5 kids since we started homeschooling in 2008. It has always worked for us. I will say in the high school years, sometimes we've spun off and done online courses instead, just because I needed to get that off my plate. But for elementary, I love it still. We don't get anything except the student work text, because elementary math, it's all explained. It's not that difficult to help my child. It's one page, it's cut and dry, it's right there. And you can find even older editions. This is not the current edition of Math 5 from BJU Press, but doesn't matter because I don't need any extras with it. And so I can find this really inexpensively, on eBay, brand new. And so we still love it. It still works for us. I'll just give you a peek inside. So it's just really easy to just look and see what do they need to do, and let's get it done. And so we still love it, and that's what we're using. It's still working. This is a win. This is definitely gonna keep using it, and we'll keep using it for next year as well. Okay, here's our second win, and that would be Fix It Grammar. It's still going really well. We have the teacher book and the student book. I've done inside looks into most of these curriculums, so if you want to actually see a lot of the inside, you can take a look at that as well. But I'll just give you an example of how much my fifth grader, is learning with Fix It Grammar. It's quite amazing. I mean, look at all these things. Where is it? Right here. Every day. Takes about 5 to 10 minutes. It's perfect, and we love it. So this is covering grammar quite well. I'm going to keep using it. I love it. I really wish I would have known about it 10 years ago and used it for all my kids, but the last few kids are getting the benefit of it. And then in addition, for English, this is the grammar. We're also reading and doing oral narration, sometimes some worksheets on what we're reading. I'm not too worried about the writing aspect because I'll show you in a minute. We're doing some notebooking, and we'll work on formal writing a little later. But Fix It Grammar is definitely staying in our lineup. Okay, here is what we were using for science. I really wanted it to work. I really wanted to love it. This is Generations Homeschool, God Made Animals. They consider this 5th through 7th grade option for science. It is the most infused with scripture and Christian worldview curriculum I've ever seen, even compared to others that you might know, like Answers in Genesis or Apologia. It's even more. What didn't we like? The student workbook became really laborious, and I just felt like it was just too workbooky, and my daughter hated it. The text itself is fine. In a funny way, I don't know if it was as deep as I wanted it to be. It's beautiful. It's generally interesting. It's a little textbooky. I wouldn't necessarily call this like a living book textbook. It is still really textbooky, but we really wanted to love it. She did finish reading this. She actually just wanted to finish it and be done with science for the year. But I'll tell you what, we gave up on the student workbook a little too soon. Not too soon, but I'm saying we gave up on it like halfway through. And I'll just give you an example of just like a page from this. But it just felt like too, I don't know, too nitpicky. I don't know. We're just not into this. She found it hard to go back after she had read it and find all the answers. It felt clunky. So what we ended up doing is literally just notebooking through the rest of the book. And I just said, don't worry about finishing the workbook. It just felt like too much. I even think they might have even had, they had a final exam in here. I wonder if they have tests. I can't remember. We never did any. Maybe it's just a final exam. And there might have been something in the middle too. I wanted to like it, but I don't know. She didn't enjoy it. I have another one of these. I can't remember if it's plants or human body for like next year that if we use the textbook, we'll probably just do notebooking the whole way through. We probably won't use their workbook. So this was kind of like a miss, which is funny because I really thought she would love it and I was excited about it, but it just didn't work that great for us. Doesn't mean it won't work well for you. Your kids may love it, but that's just kind of our honest opinion about it now that we've gotten to use it for half the school year. So this is Generations Homeschool, and definitely check out the original video on it and original review because you'll be able to see some more insight of how to use it, but it's just not our favorite. Okay, so another maybe half miss also is Generations Homeschool. We're using their history, Taking Africa for Jesus. I think it's still an issue with the student workbook coordinating well with the student text. And I think that is the disconnect that's causing some issues. So in general, the information in here is still good. I think it's still easy enough to understand. It's basically the history of Africa through like missions and the spread of the gospel. So it's an interesting concept that you don't normally see, like history written from that perspective. So I still think this is a decent student textbook, but I'm thinking the problem is mainly in this. Like, honestly, what year did this person in the 1200s reach Tunis with the gospel? Like, is that something that she really needs to know, or is that like ignoring the main point? I don't know. I don't love this. I mean, there's enrichment projects in here. I think there's tests in here too. I could be wrong. I ignore tests at this age. Yeah, so there's a final exam. I can't get into this. So she doesn't hate this student workbook as much as the science one, so we might finish the year with it. But if we do another one of their books next year, we'll probably notebook through and not use their student workbook at all. So once again, I really wanted to like it. This is Generations Homeschool. I think it's still a good curriculum, but there was something about it that just wasn't a really good fit for us. Okay, another winner is our inductive Bible study course through the book of James. My 5th grader was going to do something else this year for Bible. I actually had something else planned, and she said, no, I really want to do this James, because she had done the Little Fishes version, which is just key passages in the book of James. She had done that a couple years ago. And this is written, I said it was for like grades 5 through 12. It depends. It depends on your 5th grader, how mature they are, like how much they can handle and push themselves and that kind of thing. Deep thinking, critical thinking skills. But she loves it and it's going really well. So we definitely take it way slower than even I had envisioned for maybe a fifth grader doing it. And that's fine. I think that's the beauty of all of these curriculum is you make it work for you. So if you want to check out free samples of this, you can go to 4onemore.com/samples. But this is excellent all the way up through high school. It grows with your child. There are even like projects she's not doing because she's not old enough really to be doing them, but your older kids could do the projects. So here's an example of the inside. It's the inductive method. And we just do, several questions every day, a little section every day, and it works well. So definitely we're going to finish this, probably move on to Jonah next year. Okay, another win that has been consistent through a long time since we finally found it when homeschooling is all about spelling. So my fifth grader is on level 6. It's not grade level. Like you go at whatever level your child is at. So it goes up to level 7. So if she finishes it next year, she'll be done official spelling curriculum. But it's so user-friendly. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes a day. I love how it doesn't just have a new list of 20 words to memorize every week. It really works on the background of like the spelling rules and all these things. So, I mean, this is all it takes to teach this one level. And then of course you have some cards, spelling cards that we use like in a recipe box, like a 3x5 card box, and then like tiles, which we don't actually use all that much. And I think that's probably bad. You're probably supposed to use it. And then she just writes she just keeps track in here of like her current, what I ask her to spell. So this is a total win. Love it. Wish we would have used it from the beginning. Took a little trial and error to find it, but it's a total win for us and we're going to keep using it. Okay, this is another total win. This has been in my homeschool stash for ages. I don't ever buy Abeka stuff on purpose, but I think I had these given to me many years ago, and I love them. I actually love them. Reading comprehend skill sheets, we do 1 or 2 a week, and I think it's really helpful for reading comprehension and just getting your student used to finding the main ideas. They have the answers, we read through it, and, it's always an interesting topic too, right? So here's young American inventors, and so you're learning some interesting stuff, you're reading it, and then, let's see, once you get to the other page, I'll just show you, then they have all the questions, and you see how they do with the reading comprehension. So I love these. And I used them because they were in my stash, but they're a win. So we will definitely finish those up. I also bought 2 study guides from Progeny Press, The Magician's Nephew, and then The Hiding Place. I don't know. These were also kind of a miss. I was hoping that they would really provide a little bit of structure, a little bit of accountability and motivation that I felt like my fifth grader needed with getting her required reading done. I really want my kids to just enjoy reading, because I know as like in high school, I hated pulling apart literature in high school, like A Tale of Two Cities. I didn't really love pulling it apart and dissecting it. I just wanted to enjoy the story. And so I don't know if that's bad, but that's just, I remember feeling that way. So I get it. I don't want to like bog my kids down with like, you have to do worksheets on what you're reading. I want them to just love the story. But I also felt like this child needed a bit of accountability to get her to read, like, well, you need to complete this also. It didn't really work well. The Hiding Place, she ended up just wanting to read it and talk about it, which is oral narration, which is actually fine. So we did a couple pages out of the study guide for Hiding Place, and I don't even know if I'm going to bother using this one. I just need a better strategy because I don't want to suck that love of reading out. I want her to enjoy it. But there needs to be some kind of accountability in my head anyway, of like making sure it's done and really you're invested in it and you understood what you read. So I don't know. That's a tight line to walk. But so these weren't as great as I thought they were going to be, unfortunately. So I would say it was kind of a miss. They're very just, I mean, they're good. Some of your kids might love it. All the vocabulary. and asking you questions about the characters and questions about the story. I don't know. Dig deeper. There's some stuff for Narnia. So, they might be great for your kids, but it kind of was a miss for us. So the last item that we honestly haven't done a whole lot this year, I think this is because, do your kids ever do this? You assign them something and you say, I want you to do this once a week. And somehow they conveniently forget every week, and then you forget to check up on it. And it's halfway through the year and you've not hardly done it at all. That's kind of where this falls in. We have done this in the past with older kids, and they're great. And I feel like just a little bit every week is just an excellent thing to keep building those thinking skills, logic, and things like that. We need to get back into this because it's not that difficult. It's my fault for not checking up on it. So I would say would be a win if we were using it. It's just easy to use. Open it up, pick one, just do the next thing. There's everything from, it's like these logic and word puzzles and things, right? So, there's all sorts of stuff. These things are fun, right? Deductive reasoning and stuff. So, there's all sorts of great exercises in here. We just haven't done them. And this is for grades 4 through 6. It's huge. You could take several years to go through it. So we'll just I'll make a note to myself. I need to check up on this, but it would be a win if we had done it. Now, don't forget, just because something didn't work for us does not mean it's not going to work for you. In fact, it might be the best thing you guys have ever used. So take what I say just ever so lightly and take it into consideration. But check out our full reviews of all these different curriculum on our site and in our YouTube channel here. And I hope this mid-year recap for our 5th grade curriculum choices was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Homeschool with Moxie YouTube channel, and check out our podcast too, because we love bringing you actionable strategies to help in your homeschooling. All right, have a great day and happy homeschooling.